Well, we are right out the gates with an interesting bit of news. Carson Wentz is signing with the Los Angeles Rams. Wentz, the second overall pick by the Eagles back in 2016, last played for the Commanders last season and went unsigned in the offseason. This will be his fourth different team in the last 4 years. After the Eagles spent a season, he spent a season with the Colts before joining Washington and then now the Rams. And he's expected to back up starter Matthew Stafford, who is currently dealing with a hand injury. So he's back. Also back is Jason Avant. So with that, we welcome you into Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet, a Fanatics experience. We're so excited to have Eagles receiver Jason Avant here in studio. I'm Taryn Hatcher. So Carson Wentz, he gets another shot.
Yep.
This time, it's the Rams. Do you think he gets on the field at all? And what happens if he does, Jason?
Well, he's a backup quarterback, and every other team is trying to make him a starter, but the Rams has it right? Stafford's going to come back from injury, so it's going to be very limited Carson Wentz reps. So what that means is that no pressure on him, and then as a backup, all you have to do is keep the team in the game. You don't necessarily have to win a game. You have to have a chance to win a game, and maybe somebody else can help you secure the win.
And I said it upstairs, nobody's more excited than the Ducks and Deer in North Dakota that know they live to see another day now that he's busy somewhere else. Wentz, of course, was benched for Jalen Hurts back in 2020, and the rest, 'twas history. On Sunday, Hurts' teammates were asked about watching a clearly hobbled Jalen Hurts lead them to victory. It's the Bird's Eye View presented by Ocean Casino and Resort in Atlantic City.
He's just a resilient guy, even when he throws those touchdowns, or if something goes bad, I saw a meme the other day. It showed like all these different emotions, and it just showed Jalen's face. The whole, that's really it. I feel like he's very calm, very poised, and when you have somebody like that, it makes the offense not ride the emotions of the game, not getting too high, too low, complacent. So you need that.
Just being able, stay in the moment, not getting down, gonna always be in the moment and things like that. That's what they paid him to do. If things going bad, Jalen gonna get us back on track.
I think, to be honest, it probably just scared him, to be honest. But he's real tough, for him to come back out there and run around. And, I really don't worry about him, because I know who he is and I know what he's been through. And, so, yeah.
Time now for the three-point stance. Stance number one, Jalen Hurts has clearly solidified himself as a top-tier quarterback. Jason, people love to throw around names in that top 5, rearrange them in the top 10, and he's really put himself on that top shelf.
Yeah, 100%. Jalen Hurts is the man, and he should be in everybody's top 5 quarterbacks. And I don't want to hear the names of Lawrence and Herbert and these guys. No, it's Mahomes, it's Burrow, and then it's Jalen Hurts. And that's with no other guys in that top 3. I believe it's Jalen Hurts. Look at the numbers, and you're able to see this. A couple other things about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 12 straight games that he's won versus winning opponents. In the last 75 years, there's only been 2 other quarterbacks to do that. That's Peyton Manning and Vinny Testaverde. And also, he's super competitive, he's accurate, he has even keel, he shows up in the brightest of lights. What can't Jalen Hurts do? And if you have any aught against Jalen Hurts, you don't know football. You're looking at someone's arm angle or you're looking at how pretty the pass is. This dude just wins, and everybody wants a winner, and that's Jalen Hurts.
Well, and I love the people who go, yeah, but the record it's a team statistic, and you're like, all right, look at his completion percentage. I know you don't believe me, but look at his completion percentage and look at Patrick Mahomes. The question is, how do you think this knee injury that he's been dealing with is going to bother him? And how much do you think the bye week can realistically help that and help him overall?
Well, it'll definitely bother him. The reason it's bothering him is because it limits us from, a part of our game. A part of our game is being able to dictate coverage based on Jalen Hurts' running ability, right? Being able to hold the backside in and different things like that. So it brings that extra element. So he hasn't been effective, and this has been the whole season. We just learned about the injury in the last few games, but this is been the entire season that he's been dealing with this. So hopefully this bye week can heal him up so he can be ready for the run in the playoffs and also run into the #1 seed.
That being said, a week, or when you're talking truly, once you get back to practicing again, a week and a half is not a ton of time, so I don't expect like full magic over that time, but you hope it helps a little bit for sure. All right, stance number 2, the Eagles must rediscover the run game. They relied heavily on DeAndre Swift early in the season, and it paid huge dividends, but they haven't had anywhere near that level of success lately. Jason, how do we gear shift back into, well, our Swift? Because now that it's Kansas City, I'm sure we're going to talk about the other Swifts plenty as well.
Well, so here's the thing, right? You're looking at the stats right here, but when it comes to our run game, there's a few things that you need to know. We're not as bad as it seems. We're still in the top 5. We're 4th when it comes to rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, but it's not up to the standard that we would like. Because Cam Jurgens has been out and his backup, Sua Opeta, got benched for Tyler Steen, that's not a good sign there. Also, Jalen has been hobbled, so we can't run the ball effectively in that way. But here are some things that are positive going forward, is that you're going to get Cam Jurgens back. We'll get a better Jalen Hurts because he's going to have the bye week, and you may have that opportunity to ride and decide. But there's some things that can help us out. Misdirection can help us out. Our touchdown that we had against Cowboys, Gainwell, that was a misdirection touchdown. We're not moving the line of scrimmage like we used to be able to move the line of scrimmage. So what that means is that we have to rely on misdirection a little bit more, sort of like the 49ers and the Dolphins. We can bring that element to the run game.
You said 4th in the run game? Was that the statistic?
4th in yards and 4th in touchdowns.
Unacceptable here in Philadelphia. It's got to be number 1 or bust. All right. You mentioned the misdirection. I want to talk a little bit about rotation, though, when it comes to the backs. We even saw dash of Rashad Penny on Sunday against Dallas as well. Do you like the usage, the varying of players, and they bring different skill sets? Do you like the rotation approach, or do you want to see, I mean, we know DeAndre Swift is such a multifaceted back as well. What's your approach there?
Yeah, I would love to see DeAndre Swift get majority of the carries. That's what I would like to see. I believe that he's the most explosive and is going to get you the most bang for your buck when it comes to getting the ball in his hand. However, I believe that if you have a guy on your roster, you bring him in, and you have Rashad Penny there, let's use him in the red zone, because Kenny Gainwell is good in the red zone, but he doesn't have the body mass and the size and the history that Penny has. So I'll be looking forward to seeing Penny more in the red zone. But there's something off with Penny. You can't be on the team this long and not get any reps. That means you're not either bought into the system or you're not good at learning the playbook.
Yikes. On that note, let's move on to our third stance, and I want to talk about the defense now. Specifically, the pass defense, because it's been a problem. 2 weeks in a row, shredded. First by Sam Howell, then by Dak Prescott. How worried are you? I know we talked a ton going into last week about that slot cornerback position and how we knew that might be an issue against Dallas. But when you look at the pass defense overall, what is your most major concern?
Well, we're a liability in the secondary, and you can look at the screen right now and see the stats. And these are not third down stats. These are not first down throws. There's a lot of stats that are worse than this. The only thing that can be worse than this is 32nd, right? So what that means is that we're bad when it comes to covering people, especially the second and third levels of our defense, especially the linebackers, the safeties, and our nickel corner. And then you add Bradbury and how he's playing right now. It's just not going well. And it's because we're young, so it's going to get better, but they're not understanding route concepts, they're not understanding leverage and their responsibility. Take Sidney Jones, for an example, on the Turpin touchdown in the red zone, right? He has a guy inside of him, so he has to play outside and not allow him to get back out. So those are just little details. That's a great defensive call, but the player messed it up. So with that being said, we need to scour the world for a corner and hope that Bradley Roby comes back soon enough so we're not looking this bad. 32nd in the league, and we're still winning games? That's unheard of.
Truly. I mentioned CeeDee Lamb, the concern at the slot cornerback position ahead of the Cowboys game. Darius Slay did touch on the plan when it came to CeeDee Lamb after the game. I'm curious, are you surprised that Slay didn't land with Lamb more often, that they didn't push that more? Why
would you go with the only guy that's solid in coverage? Right? So if I'm Dallas, I'm going to go away from Darius Slay. I'm going to go with Bradbury, and I'm going to go with the Eli Ricks and different things like that, right? The times that Slay was on him, he didn't get many yards. So with that being said, if I'm Dallas and I know that they're not going to match him, I'm going to go away from their strength. So he can shadow CeeDee Lamb if he wants to. But guess what? When you have younger guys, it's hard to be able to maneuver your defense and be able to be sound everywhere else because you have a guy in a different spot. Now Eli Ricks has to be on the outside. That's not a good proposition for us at all. So we need guys to come back and play better. We do.
Well, they've got extra time to study up. You've got extra time maybe to seek out a little extra therapy session.
Yeah.
It seems like you might need it. But we're not letting them off the hook just yet. We've got much more Birds Huddle still to come. How will the Eagles get by without Dallas Goedert, the good kind of Dallas? We'll take a closer look at just how much these Birds might miss that man. Plus, we look at the Coach of the Year odds and wonder if Nick Sirianni will get any more love this time around. And we hand out some first half awards for the Eagles. Stick around, folks.
Birds Huddle is powered by PointsBet, now a Fanatics experience. Check the app every day from 6 to 9 p.m. for PointsBet's Power Hour to claim your exclusive offer. PointsBet, now a Fanatics experience.